Welcome to Watch Dado. Today we're counting down the top 10 creative slip-ups that made a musician trip for a moment, but never managed to crash the whole train. Number 10. American Life by Madonna. Madonna tried to play the rebel, tried to play the role of a political provocateur. Back in 2003, the Queen of Pop decided it was time to get serious, and the payoff was anything but royal. American Life was a bizarre sonic mashup. Acoustic folk strumming, harsh electronic drums, and a rap verse so awkward it still makes people cringe. The track sparked outrage largely because of its music video, which got yanked and recut in the heat of the Iraq War. It sputtered to a halt at number 37 on the Billboard Hot 100, an embarrassing debut for a lead Madonna single. But here's the thing. Madonna isn't just a star, she's an institution. 2 years later, she served up Confessions on a Dance Floor, and the worldwide smash hung up, proving one bad move couldn't knock the crown off her head. Number 9. Acquainted by The Weeknd. 2015 was The Weeknd's year. Beauty Behind the Madness was dominating, and tracks like Can't Feel My Face were everywhere. Hoping to keep the fire burning, Acquainted was pushed as the next big radio single. Sure, it was a streaming hit and critics loved it, but on actual radio, it fizzled. It barely scraped into the top 60 on the Hot 100 and lacked that crossover magic that made his earlier singles unstoppable. For The Weeknd, though, this wasn't a career-ending crater. It was barely a speed bump. He locked himself in the studio and came back a year later with Starboy, sealing his status as an untouchable, stadium-filling icon. Number 8. Reaper by Sia. Originally cooked up with Kanye West for Rihanna's Anti album, Reaper eventually landed on Sia's 2016 project, This Is Acting. On paper, a team-up between two of the 2010's biggest hitmakers should have been automatic gold. Instead, the tropical-tinged pop tune felt strangely generic. It never captured the raw emotional power of Chandelier or Elastic Heart. Sia herself later admitted in interviews that she never really connected with the song, and that indifference showed on the charts. But when your catalog is packed with some of the biggest pop anthems of the century, one small flop barely leaves a scratch. Sia brushed it off, dropped Cheap Thrills that same year, and scored her very first Billboard #1. Number 7. Slow Rivers by Elton John and Cliff Richard. In 1986, Elton John joined forces with fellow British legend Cliff Richard for Slow Rivers, the lead single from Elton's much-maligned Leather Jackets album. You'd assume that putting two of the UK's most successful artists together would guarantee a monster hit. You'd assume wrong. Slow Rivers is a painfully sluggish, melodramatic ballad that already sounded ancient by mid-80s standards. It limped to a miserable number 44 on the UK singles chart and didn't even come close to the Billboard Hot 100. But he's Sir Elton John. His career was never in real danger. By the 90s, he'd gotten sober, cleaned up, and launched a full-blown renaissance. Oscar wins and the best-selling single of all time, Candle in the Wind, 1997. Number 6. Love Me Anyway by Pink featuring Chris Stapleton. Pink built her entire empire on arena-shaking pop-rock bangers. So when she teamed up with country powerhouse Chris Stapleton for the acoustic ballad Love Me Anyway in 2019, fans expected something epic. Despite both singers delivering stunning vocal performances, the song fell into a strange no-man's land. Too pop for country radio, too country for pop stations. It missed the Hot 100 entirely, peaking at number 15 on the bubbling underchart. For almost any other artist, missing the main chart with a superstar feature would be devastating. For Pink, it was a non-issue. Her Beautiful Trauma World Tour was busy pulling in nearly $400 million, proving her live draw completely shielded her from any single chart disappointment. Number 5. More Than Physical by Bananarama. British trio Bananarama was riding sky high in the mid-1980s, especially after their cover of shocking blues Venus shot to #1 in the United States. Eager to cash in, they dropped More Than Physical as the follow-up. The problem? It felt like a watered-down photocopy of Venus with none of the infectious spark. The song tanked in the US, stalling at a lowly number 73, and severely underperformed back home in the UK. It looked like their American crossover dreams were dead. But the trio pivoted brilliantly. The very next year, they released I Heard a Rumor, matched their signature style with a far stronger hook, and saved their global pop career. Number 4. Get On Your Boots by U2. When U2 gears up to launch a new album, they usually drop a world-stopping lead single. Think Beautiful Day, think Vertigo. But in 2009, they unleashed Get On Your Boots to introduce No Line on the Horizon, and the public's reaction was, let's call it, puzzled. The track is a frantic, overproduced, and genuinely confusing stab at garage rock. It sounds like the band trying way too hard to sound young and hip. It became U2's lowest-charting lead single in decades, failing to crack the top 30 in the US. But U2 is an unkillable stadium rock monolith. They immediately hit the road for the U2 360-degree tour, which shattered records as the highest-grossing concert tour in history at the time. Number 3. Massive Attack by Nicki Minaj featuring Sean Garrett. Before she was the undisputed queen of rap, Nicki Minaj was a rising mixtape star trying to launch her debut album. She dropped her official debut single Massive Attack in 2010, featuring an avant-garde, heavy experimental beat by Alex da Kid, and a futuristic desert-themed music video. The song completely failed to connect with urban or mainstream radio, charting at a dismal number 22 on the Bubbling Under Hot 100 before vanishing entirely. A flop of that size normally ends a new artist's career before it even begins. Instead, Nicki pivoted instantly, dropped Your Love and Super Bass, and went on to completely redefine the landscape for female hip-hop over the next decade. Number 2. Loverboy by Mariah Carey. In 2001, Mariah Carey's lead single Loverboy stumbled thanks to a chaotic mix of problems. Jennifer Lopez's team allegedly swiped the original Firecracker sample, Mariah was running on fumes from exhaustion, and her film Glitter was a box office disaster. While Loverboy did reach number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, it was heavily discounted to 49 cents to get there, damaging her credibility and leading Virgin Records to buy out her $100 million contract. But this setback didn't finish her. Mariah signed with Island Records, got her health back on track, and slowly rebuilt her momentum with Charm Bracelet. By 2005, she pulled off one of music's greatest comebacks with the multi-platinum The Emancipation of Mimi and its 14-week #1 smash We Belong Together, cementing her legendary status forever. Number 1. Chinese Democracy by Guns N' Roses. The odds were stacked against Guns N' Roses in 2008. 14 years of delays, false starts, and endless hype haunted the release of their 6th studio album, Chinese Democracy, and that baggage crushed the title track before it even had a chance. Because no single could possibly live up to a decade and a half of anticipation, the tune stalled at number 34 on the Billboard charts, and album sales nosedived after the first week. But the Guns N' Roses brand is bulletproof. Slash and Duff eventually returned to the fold, and the band launched the Not in This Lifetime tour, grossing over $580 million, and proving that fans will always show up for rock legends. So, do any of these tracks deserve a second chance? Let us know in the comments below.